I want to touch on sort of Tottenham's overall idea in the press, not just for the goal, but throughout the game. And what we have is sort of this. We've seen it against PSG, but they played a 5-back and they went 5-2-1-2. And the one was Sarr, who again, we want to speak about how integral he is from a manager perspective, off the ball, back pressing and winning the ball back high. If he is on the back and he's in behind Johnson and Richarlison, who are leading that press, so as soon as the ball is played, I think Richarlison makes this somewhat curved run to lock off that side, which means James Trafford has got a decision to make, which is, can we play there? But Brennan Johnson's obviously stepped out. Or can we try and, feed the ball through the pivot? I think Cherky actually drops in a little bit deeper here, and I thought he could have played this pass maybe squarer here. But what happens is he receives here, Sarr jumps and then turns the ball over high, and then there's somewhat of a scrap in the box for the ball that Spurs then turn into a goal. What I was noticing from City a lot in this game was they were trying to have sort of a box midfield constantly in there. So this meant that Rico Lewis was actually coming in really narrow and that Ryan Cherky was actually causing a lot of problems sort of in this space, moving fluidly. Now, that meant that when City were on the ball, a lot of people were, slotting down the outsides like this, and it meant that Spurs had to go full court press. And there were a lot of times in the game where we've seen Bentancur, Paulinho, Sarr, everyone sort of full box pressing them. And we ended up in situations sort of with Spurs like this, where we had Haaland, Marmoush, Bob. In the first half when Rico Lewis was moving inside, we saw Jed Spence actually following him very, very narrow into the pitch. And it meant that when Oscar Bob was dropping in here to pick the ball up, it was Van de Ven who was often all the way up in left wing positions to back press and to push the ball backwards.